They turned survival into entertainment, but this contestant fought back against the entire system. In a dystopian future America, inside Co-op City, Ben Richards has just lost his job. Desperate, he brings his infant daughter, Kathy, with him to confront his boss and plead for another chance. But the boss shuts him down, accusing Ben of using the baby to manipulate him. Ben fires back, saying he didn't bring Kathy for sympathy, he brought her to keep himself from losing control and attacking him. Back at home, Ben tunes into Freevee, a network packed with over-the-top reality and competition shows, everything from a Kardashian-style series called The Americanos to brutal game shows built around dangerous challenges. The biggest hit, and the deadliest, is The Running Man. In it, contestants have to stay hidden for 30 days. If they're found, a squad of hunters, led by the masked Chief Evan McCone, tracks them down and kills them. Ben talks it over with his wife, Sheila. With Kathy sick and the cost of medicine out of reach, he considers joining one of the shows to earn money. Sheila is torn, she knows they need the cash, but fears he'll be putting his life on the line and leaving her and Kathy behind. Determined, Ben heads to the Freevee Game Network to audition for a safer show. There, he meets two other hopefuls, Jenny Laughlin and Tim Jansky. During the tryouts, Ben's anger and intensity stand out, but so does his sense of decency when he risks disqualification to save Tim during a challenge. In the end, it's not a safer show he gets. Ben is chosen as a runner for The Running Man alongside Jenny and Tim. Ben tries to talk his way out of it by meeting with the network's head producer, Dan Killian, hoping he can land a spot on a safer show instead of becoming a runner. But Killian already knows Ben's history, how he got blacklisted for standing up for his coworkers, and uses it against him. He sweetens the deal with a signing bonus and promises financial support for Sheila and Kathy while Ben is gone. With no real options left, Ben reluctantly agrees. He calls Sheila to break the news and apologizes for putting himself in this situation. A network liaison later assures him that Sheila and Kathy will be relocated and protected under new identities. Soon after, Ben is brought out in front of a live studio audience, where the Running Man host, Bobby Thompson, puts him on display. During the introduction, Bobby takes cheap shots at Sheila's job as a hostess at a gentleman's club and even mocks Kathy's illness, pushing Ben to the edge. Meanwhile, McCone and his hunters are already assembled, preparing to track down their next targets. The runners are released into the city with $1,000 and a 12-hour head start. Before the game officially kicks off, Ben tracks down an old contact, Malia Jernigan, to secure a fake ID and a weapon. He then lays low in a hostel, knowing he's required to send in a daily video to the network. Not long after, it's revealed that McCone and his crew captured Malia, torturing him for information before likely killing him once he gave up Ben's new identity and location. On the second day, Ben watches the broadcast and sees Tim in Boston. Nervous and careless, Tim openly brags about being on The Running Man, making himself an easy target. The hunters quickly track him down and execute him. Realizing how fast things can go wrong, Ben prepares to leave the hostel, but decides to take a quick shower first. That decision nearly costs him. The hunters have already infiltrated the building. Wearing nothing but a towel, Ben is forced to climb across the exterior windows just to sneak back into his room and grab his bag. As soon as the hunters break in, chaos erupts. Ben dodges gunfire, sprints through the building, and finally escapes by diving into an elevator. He barely avoids being caught in the blast of his own grenade, then manages to slip away through the sewers, just as McCone orders the hostel destroyed, killing 8 of his own men in the explosion. The explosion is quickly spun by the network as a terrorist attack, turning public opinion against Ben, painting him as someone who targeted men the audience views as heroes. After escaping through the sewers, he's spotted by a kid who secretly brings him home. There, Ben meets the boy's brother, Bradley, and their mother. Inside Bradley's room, walls lined with recorded footage of the running man, he breaks down the typical contestants. There's the hopeless dude, like Tim, overconfident or unprepared, usually gone within days. Then the negative dude, who knows he won't make it and chooses how he goes out. And finally, the final dude, the one who survives the longest, driven by sheer will and boosted by the ratings. Bradley believes Ben fits that last category. He also reveals something darker. His sister developed cancer, which he blames on the network covering up its own corruption. Ben tries to expose this in his daily video submissions, but the network intercepts the footage. Instead, they broadcast a deep fake of him, making it look like he enjoyed killing the hunters and destroying the hostel. The lie works. Terrified, Bradley's mother demands that Ben leave immediately. Still, Bradley and his brother decide to help. They hide Ben in the trunk of their car and drive through the city, trying to stay under the radar. But they're eventually spotted by hunters on bikes. A chase breaks out, and in the chaos, Bradley manages to take them down, buying just enough time to get Ben to safety. Bradley gives Ben an address in Derry, Maine, sending him to a fellow activist named Elton Parakis, who lives with his deeply paranoid mother, Victoria. On the way, Ben disguises himself as a priest to avoid detection. It almost works, until a civilian recognizes him and tries to report it. Ben reacts quickly, knocks the man out, and jumps onto a passing train to keep moving. During his journey, he catches an update about Jenny. She had been spotted at a casino and actually managed to slip past the hunters for a while. But her luck ran out. She was eventually cornered in a barn and killed by two unhinged kids armed with flamethrowers. When Ben finally reaches Elton's home, he learns more about the resistance. Elton's father was a police officer who tried to speak out against the network's corruption, and was killed by his own colleagues for it. Despite everything, Elton believes Ben has become something bigger than just a contestant. Across the country, people are starting to rally behind him, spreading the phrase Richard's lives as a symbol of defiance against the network. Elton offers Ben a place to hide, but things quickly spiral when Victoria sees Ben on the news and threatens to call in the hunters. Although they try to stop her, Elton makes a bold, and reckless, decision. He contacts the hunters himself, planning to take as many of them down as he can. What follows is chaos. The house turns into a battleground filled with booby traps, Elton electrocuting intruders, then dousing them in chemicals before blowing them up. But the hunters push through. Down in the sewers, Elton is stabbed by Hunter Frank. Ben steps in, fighting Frank long enough to escape through the tunnels in an all-terrain buggy. Behind him, Elton's fate is sealed. McCone, watching from a helicopter, takes him out with a sniper shot. With nowhere left to run, Ben turns back. He speeds across a bridge straight toward Frank, then leaps from the buggy at the last second. The vehicles collide and explode, taking Frank out, while Ben is thrown into the water below. He eventually makes it back to the road and hijacks a car driven by a wealthy young woman named Amelia Williams, forcing her to take him along as a hostage. At first, Amelia fully believes the network's version of the story, that Ben is a terrorist and that people from Co-op City, including his own family, are dangerous. But things start to crack when they're stopped by two militia men, only for the hunters to gun them down without hesitation, making it clear they don't want anyone interfering with the show. Amelia's doubts turn into shock when she sees a broadcast from the running man showing a clip of her supposedly crying and begging for help, something she never actually did. In that moment, she realizes the truth: the network has been manipulating everything, and Ben has been telling the truth all along. Amelia drives Ben straight to a hunter airfield, where fans and hunters are gathered in a tense, almost celebratory atmosphere. Thinking fast, Ben pretends he's carrying a powerful explosive and threatens to detonate it unless they're allowed to pass and board a jet bound for Canada. Not willing to take the risk, the hunters back off and let them through. Before boarding, Ben forces McCone to remove his mask in front of everyone, something Killian actually allows, playing into the spectacle. Once they're in the air, Killian contacts Ben from headquarters. Calm and calculating, he reveals the truth: there's no bomb, his scanners already confirmed it. Then he makes an offer. If Ben kills McCone and the other hunters on board, he can take their place as one of them. To push him further, Killian shows supposed footage of McCone disobeying orders and leading a hit on Sheila and Kathy, trying to fuel Ben's anger and force his hand. Instead, Ben turns on the hunters. He kills the pilots, who are hunters themselves, and goes head-to-head with McCone. During the fight, McCone reveals a shocking truth: he was once a runner too, the last survivor of the show's first season, until he accepted Killian's deal to become a hunter. He also hints that Killian lied about Sheila and Kathy's deaths, manipulating Ben to make him appear like a revenge-driven hero on screen. With Amelia's help, Ben shoots out a window mid-flight, creating chaos inside the cabin. McCone gets tangled with his parachute in the rush of air, and Ben finishes him off. Amelia grabs a parachute along with Elton's underground pamphlets, determined to expose the network's lies, and jumps to safety. As the damaged plane hurtles back toward Co-op City, Killian gives Ben one last ultimatum: fall in line, or he'll broadcast a fake video making it look like Ben plans to crash the jet into millions of civilians. When Ben refuses, Killian orders the jet to be shot down. Sometime later, Bradley releases a video revealing what really happened. Amelia has become an activist, spreading the truth about Ben and Elton. She also recovered the jet's black box, which contains the unedited conversation between Ben and Killian, fully exposing the network's lies and manipulation. Bradley adds that the jet had an escape pod, suggesting Ben likely survived by hiding inside it. Meanwhile, Sheila and Kathy are at a grocery store when the cashier tells Sheila their items have already been paid for. Confused, she steps outside, only to find Ben waiting for her. The family is finally reunited. Back at the studio, Killian prepares to launch the next season of The Running Man, but things quickly fall apart. The audience begins to rebel, holding up Richard's live signs in open defiance. Amid the destruction, Ben appears. Killian is left helpless on the ground as Ben walks up to him. Calm and unshaken, Ben starts counting down from 5, and when he reaches 0, he pulls the trigger, ending Killian's life with a single shot. A brutal dystopian thriller that feels way too real. The Running Man mixes action, media manipulation, and survival into one intense story, while Ben's journey from hunted contestant to symbol of resistance keeps the tension high until the very end.